now for Better Fitness. Now, you might think having pain in your knees disqualifies you from exercising, but there are things you can do actually to alleviate that oh so common knee pain.
Hello from up here.
I mean, do you want to be even taller than us?
Taylor Bidmead from Fitness Together is here to show us how. Nice to see you, Taylor.
Good to see you guys.
All right,
Thanks
so
for
I'm
having
standing
us.
on this elevated this platform here.
Yes. So the first thing you have to do if you're having knee pain with your exercises is you need to look at your exercises. You might be doing something that's way too much all of a sudden. So if you strengthen the muscles, what happens is your knee, your poor knee, is mostly just bone. It's a joint. So it's made up of tendons and ligaments, not a muscle.
Okay.
So two things can happen. Your range of mobility in your knee can be offset by the strength of your muscles, and also just the strength of the tendons and ligaments itself can be impaired. So here's a few exercises, and we'll go through some things to kind of work on
This is great because
that.
I have knee pain.
Okay, then
Yeah.
what you could do is, first alleviation is good quality sneakers, which we've talked about,
Yeah.
but also looking at what exercises you're doing.
Okay.
So here's an exercise that you can do to actually strengthen your knees. So we have a platform that's about 3 to 4 inches off the ground, and we're gonna put one leg on here for standing. And how we're gonna get into the knee is by shifting our weight over into the leg that's on the step, shoulders back. Notice that the hips are back, and then you're gonna stand up with your knee, and then hold it on the way down. Okay, so doing this 1, 2, 3 times, not a problem. We're gonna go for 10 to 15 reps.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
my favorite is having people come down, hold, tap their toes, and come
Wow.
up.
So
Okay.
really, you're strengthening all of the muscles around the knee because that's going to help you stabilize it. Is that right?
Right, and doing exercises like this also improves mobility through the knee, so you're working on getting that elasticity in the tendons and in the ligaments.
So they're not so rigid. Okay.
Exactly. So
Am I doing
even
this
if
right,
the muscle does get a little bit too strong, good. So let's send the hips back just a little bit. Shoulders back, chest up. There you go. So now do you feel how all the weight's in that leg?
Yes.
Good. And you're going to take that slight bend in the knee. Good. And you're going to sink your hips back.
Well, that's
So
really
sometimes
There
if
you
we're
go.
having
So
knee
if you-
pain,
Yeah.
there may not be something like physically or structurally wrong with our knee, just that we need to either stretch our muscles or build up our muscles.
So even the way you're doing it, let's send your hips back a little bit more. So as you're standing, go ahead and put both feet down. I was gonna say, you might feel like you're gonna lose your balance. Put your weight in your leg that's up on the step. Good, and send your hips back just a little bit and
We
lift
gotta
up.
move on. We only have 2 minutes. Sorry.
Nice job. So the
All right.
next one that we can do.
The single leg glute bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's very important that you work your glutes if you're having problems with your knee. And also doing glute bridges helps with the mobility through your hip flexors, which is the top part of your quad, which affects your knee tremendously, which is if you're somebody who can't do kneeling exercises, you might feel that more in your hips because your knee literally won't bend. It'll feel like your kneecap's gonna snap so you don't go down. A lot of that comes from up in the hip flexors. So if you're doing a glute bridge, we're gonna plant one leg, dorsiflex, pull the toes back, and you're just gonna lift up on one side. Okay, so you're working one glute at a time.
Okay.
And why that's important is you're using your body weight and you're isolating onto one muscle, versus if you use 2 feet, you're working the whole muscle system. So if you're somebody who feels that you might have issues with your hip flexors, you can start with a double-legged glute bridge. But if you really want to work your knee, put the effort in the bottom part of the quad. You do one leg at a time because you only have one glute involved in the exercise.
Okay.
Yes. So if you're watching at home, you can get down right now and do what Taylor is doing. Follow along. Because how many sets do we need to do to actually make a difference? Do you do them every day? Or?
900.
So yeah, these are little exercises that you can do every day that's going to improve the mobility and strengthen the muscles. You want to do these 2 to 3 times a week when you're first getting started, and if you can build up your endurance very quickly. So if you can start to do it 4 times a week, and then maybe you start to be able to do these easy exercises twice a day, and you're feeling really good about your knee strength, then you're going to need to start with some stronger exercises.
We only have about 30 seconds.
That's
so.
okay. So the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to work on that tendon and ligament around the kneecap. So going in and foam rolling your calf and making sure that everything stays nice and loose. Work the soleus. A lot of people work their calves just straight up and down. You also have muscles on the side. You have tendons and ligaments that run, and you can even work on the tendon by coming down on the calf, tucking over, and just lifting up on the body weight.
Oh,
So it'll get through
Yeah.
the tendon for you.
That
And all of
foam
these
rolling
play.
feel good. You can foam roll while you watch TV.
absolutely.
I do. I spend like an hour and 20 minutes just foam rolling while watching you guys.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, to learn more about personal training with Taylor and her team, visit fitnesstogether.com/Rocky Hill.